Thanks to the support as a channel member, Adam Fitzpatrick. Well, the less said about our performance in the playoffs yesterday, the better. I think the job for this summer has got to be let go of nostalgia and players who just haven't got it anymore, not naming any specific names, and build a squad that can just go up automatically. Relying on the playoffs is never going to get us anywhere in this league. Hello and welcome to part 77 of Bourne in the USA. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of, what is that, the 9th season of this save? We're still in non-league. It's never been this hard. FM21's too easy. Shut up. FM21 is too easy. Goodness me. So these are our signings that came in over the course of the last summer. Chris Southern, the goalkeeper, got signing of the season. I think probably if loans had been allowed to qualify for signing of the season, several of the loans probably would have been ahead of him, notably Takada and Johnson. We've already got Johnson & Johnson back in for loans for next season. Haven't yet been able to secure a loan for Takada. We obviously need to explore that. And Jay Grant as well, hopefully, won't be the last name coming in from Bourne UK version, because he was pretty good, although he plays in the same position as Chris Johnson, so didn't get as many opportunities as you would have liked. The original Bourne's logo's wrong as well. That must have been something that's gone wrong as part of changing my PCs over. We probably need to fix that at some point. That's not even the logo. That's their old logo. That's not even the one they use in real life now. So the board were expecting me to avoid relegation. We ended up finishing third, even though, as we know, we had opportunities to go up automatically. Carolina pipping us to that. And at the time of recording this bit, it's Atlanta and Maryland Bobcats who are the two teams who've made it through to the playoff final, which hasn't yet happened. Fingers crossed Atlanta go up and we're the best team left in this division, and a load of dross comes down and we can just make a few subtle tweaks to the team over the course of this summer and hopefully go up automatically. That's the plan. The plan might be undone by the club finances, though. We are about £700,000 in debt. We are way over our wage budget because it was slashed midway through the season. As you can see, some of these numbers are actually decreasing. Yes, we've increased a little bit on sponsorship and match day revenue as we've started to move up the leagues. However, zero broadcast revenue and almost zero in prize money because we didn't have a cup run. This is a problem. The fact we don't sell shirts is a problem. Huyan selling more than anybody else, though. Hernandez still in there as well. But I think we're probably going to have to let some of these players go and rely even more on these loans that we can get in for zero wage contribution. Johnson, Takada, Johnson, I think all three of them plus Grant. I don't think we're paying a penny towards the salary of any of them. I don't know how many loans were allowed in our match day squad, but I think we probably need to trim a lot of the fat around this team. I talked about it a little bit in the intro. Maybe let go of some nostalgia, the likes of Jeff Brook, Jorge Hernandez. If they're not going to play, they shouldn't be at the club, because we've got as far as we have through having a really small squad, to the point where there's been lots of points in this save where I've not even really had options to come off the bench. I think we need to tighten in on 11, maybe 14 players who can get the job done. And I'm including the loans in that. So if we've got 4 or 5 loans, we're talking about paying proper money to no more than about 10 players probably, and just fill in the rest of the squad with youth players as we need them. I don't know if that's a realistic plan, but it's kind of how we've got to this point so far. This is our team of the year. Southern in goal, a back four of Llewellyn, Vinicius, Morgan and Parmenta, Gomez and Wallace in midfield, Johnson and Huyan out wide, Takada and Johnson up front. And you can see, once again, we've not really been shy of scoring goals. Kevin Johnson with 29, Takada 23, Huyan 15, Morgan with 8 from centre-back, 5 for Vinicius. Chris Johnson weighed in with 8 as well. Plenty of assists throughout that team. It's defensively we need fixing. Maybe we need a change of the system. Awards then, Takada won Fans Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. Southern got Signing of the Year, and Huyan Goal of the Season. Top scorer was Kevin Johnson. Most assists went to Huyan as usual. And most man of the match is Kevin Johnson. Highest average rating to Takada. We didn't get any of the competition awards, but both Huyan and Hernandez have extended their own personal records. Huyan with most league appearances at 338. Jorge Hernandez 209 goals. I think it might be 209. Remove the asterisk coming up very, very soon. I don't expect Jorge Hernandez to be with us next season. As sad as it is, I think his time is probably done. This is our all-time best 11, so we'll just check in on some of these guys, see what they're up to as well. Kotolyarov at Mass United down in the Atlantic League. Llewellyn's still with us. Nice is now playing for the Seacoast United Phantoms. We haven't seen a lot of Seacoast United recently. I'd like the Seacoast United teams to start catching up with us again. Jeff Brook is obviously still with us, but I think probably leaving this summer. His contract is up. We're paying him £95 a week for a player who didn't start a game for us last year. He's been a fantastic servant. 302 games in nearly 10 years at the club. But at 25, he's a long way off getting a testimonial. He is the club captain. And I think, similar to with Hernandez, we've probably topped out on where Jeff Brook can be an effective player for us. And thank you, Jeff, but you're probably gone this summer. Ben Garlick has now retired after a spell with the Seacoast United Mariners. Retired 4 years ago. I probably should remember that, because I'm no doubt telling you that as if it's news every summer. Gomez in central midfield is still here. Briones has now retired. He went to Discoveries SC after leaving us, spent 3 years there, but has retired pretty recently, looking at that. And so Diego Briones is done. Sam Williams is at the Seacoast United Mariners, where he's still getting fairly regular football. Huyan, of course, still with us on the right. And then the Hernandai up front in the all-time best 11. Jackson Hernandez is playing for Coyotes, where he's never recaptured his goal-scoring form that he had for us. And, of course, Jorge Alberto Hernandez, only a 1.5-star player now. I've actually transfer listed him because he's got a year left on his contract and we just can't afford to pay his wages. To say I didn't give him opportunities last year, he started 11 games, came off the bench 10 times. Yeah, he's still picking up assists. He's still not got a terrible average rating, but only 4 goals from those 11 starts kind of puts the writing on the wall for Jorge Hernandez. I need my strikers to be scoring goals like this for me. And with Johnson and Takada, that's what we've got. So Hernandez is only going to be a backup player. And if he's going to be a backup player, we can probably find a cheaper one with some more star rating, maybe. Let's just shoot through the rest of these inbox messages. Shoot through? What does that even mean? The goal for this season is to avoid relegation and start repairing the club's financial damage. Makes sense. We're obviously trying to get promoted, but I think, yes, definitely try and fix the financial problems. I am trying. I'm looking at team leaders. Stephen Stone, I think he's probably on a 3-year contract on big money. He's not playing. We've got to get rid of him. We've thrown cash around as if it didn't really matter. And now I've offended the whole team, but don't worry, I've emboldened them now. I'm terrible at these meetings. We don't need to look at that report yet. And let's look at the team. So we look at who's actually played this year and then look at where money is being wasted. Peter Powell didn't play a single game, £90 a week. Just to show you how bad the finances are. That's the balance. This is the wage budget. We've got less than £6,000 as our wage budget. We're spending 8.5. Even when players who are out of contract leave, it goes down to 7.5. So we still need to trim another £2,000 a week off of the wage budget, ignoring contracts that are expiring before we can even really think about bringing in new players. Wage budget looks like it's going to be decreasing again as well because the financial situation is getting worse. So we need £2,000. So looking through this, Powell is at £90 a week, got to go. Brook at £95 a week, got to go. They're both already taken into account. Their contracts are expiring. But then you look at some of these other players. Stephen Stone has got 2 years left on his contract at £190 a week. He's done. We've got to get rid of him. Jeremy Webb is earning £150 a week and we're not using him. He's got to go. And it's whether or not we're going to be able to ship these players out. And that is the big if. Gerard has got 2 years left on his contract. We're paying him £180 a week as a fringe player. We can't afford that kind of luxury player anymore. Even someone like Severs, who did play when he was fit, but he wasn't fit very often. We're paying him £140 a week for another year. all of these, anyone who's played less than 20 games, really, if they've played less than 20 games, we've got to be looking at binning them off. So that's Ben Ryan, Austin Fitzhugh, Lima's leaving, contract is up. Perez has got to go. Hernandez has got to go. Emiliano Valdez, we're paying him £275 a week for another 2 years to not be good enough. These were players we thought we could afford last summer. The maddest one, Vinicius, £550 a week we're paying Vinicius. Yes, he's good. But is he so much better than... I mean, Danny Evans, our backup keeper's on £350. He's got to go. Our next best player actually plays. I mean, this is the problem with the squad. If you filter that by who's being paid the most, then look for the first team, look how many players are stealing a living. Actual regular starters, they start coming in about here. The entirety of the first team are the lowest paid players at the club. This is going to be a challenging summer. And after all that, they've got to put the wage budget back up. I mean, what? I'm trying to prepare for stuff. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but I've just done a whole bit. I've been giving that serious thought. And then the very next thing I see is that put the damn wage budget back up again. Well, that changes everything. Let's go waste some money. Well, there are some names that have been released here at the end of their contracts. Irving, who was rubbish at us in goal, but Llewellyn's been around for a while. Powell, Brook, Solis. Where is he? Has Hernandez not been released? Has he got more time on his contract? What is going on here? I thought he was out of contract. No, he's apparently got one more year. Misread that. Well, several players have been released. We've got lots more contracts that are going to be expiring. There's a couple of these that we need to extend, like Morgan and Parmenter are going to need new deals adding in. But we've also managed to clear a few of the players out that we wouldn't necessarily want knocking around the place as well. So in addition to those players who've been released, Ankiel has left on a free transfer. Jeremy Webb, we managed to sell for £7,000, which I think is a cracking piece of business for a player we weren't using. Danny Evans, we sold for £4,000. Again, we wrote him off at Christmas and he never really got back in the side. So that's him gone. Valdez, who I think was earning several £100s a week, we've managed to ship out on a free transfer to Stumptown Athletic. And there's a couple more who've gone out on loan, notably Chris Austin Fitzhugh, who we were paying £150 a week. He's gone out on loan for the full season to Western Mass, who are paying his entire salary. Only the one player has come in so far. It's a new backup goalkeeper, Andrew Diaz. He's 19 years old. He's 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He has played a full season for Nashville at this level a couple of years ago, presumably some kind of injury replacement situation because he didn't get to play at all last year. I think he's a perfectly good backup for Southern. So we've got our two goalkeepers sorted. There's still other players we'd like to get rid of. If we have a look at who's still in the first team squad, Stone, Hernandez are the obvious ones that we'd like to get rid of. I wouldn't be against Gerard or Ryan going. Gerard actually had a deal arranged to leave, but then turned them down. Perez is another one that I'd happily let go. Pretty much anyone from the halfway point down, probably with the exception of Huyan, I'd quite like to keep around. And obviously the new boy Diaz. But we've massively slimmed this squad down. It's the day before contract freebie day. And as you can see, we've managed to get our spending down to around £5,500 a week, giving us about £2,500 to play with. Personnel wise, we are light. That is a first team squad of only 18 people. Anderson's not coming back on loan again. The lad we had in from Bourne is not coming back in on loan again. Fitzhugh is already out on loan elsewhere, so we can bin him off. So those two are back on loan. Takada is signing permanently tomorrow, so he'll be in. But that's 17, 16, back up to 17 again with Takada. But then if we lose the likes of Stone, Hernandez, Ryan, I mean, we could be down to like 12 players. We are going to have to do some business with that £2,500. But first, I need to renew some contracts. Right, first wave of transfers are complete. There's still a couple of others that we're working on, including potentially the sale of Jorge Hernandez to Storm, not from the X-Men, from the Central Premier League. But we have done some business. We've brought in some very snazzy looking players. So we already knew about Diaz. He'd already come in. I'd already mentioned that Shota Takada was signing for us permanently. There's your confirmation. He has signed for us permanently. Knew Jorge Hernandez, anyone with those kind of figures in his first season? Took us a while to start playing him in his best role as well, but he started banging the goals in and was an assist machine. So Takada is in permanently. We've also got Dongwook Bay, not sure. 19-year-old American with a great moustache, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's in from Minnesota United off of the Premier League. We're getting Premier League youngsters who are being discarded. Chad Martin, 20 years old, 3.5-star current ability with lots of potential. He's a weird one because he was of the Premier League, but then spent a couple of years with Atlantic City and then wanted loads of money to come to us. So we've given him loads of money because he looks really good. I don't know why this has gone to centimetres. That will never do. I can't live in a world where I'm looking at centimetres. It's ridiculous. How do I change this to normal weights and measures? Formats. So we want feet, we want stones, we want yards, and we want miles. There we go. Let's get this done sensibly. So is that changed? There you go. So he's 6 foot tall and 12 stone. Needs to hit the gym. Goodness me. Then we've got Matt Campos, who apparently we can't look at. There you go. Matt Campos is a left back, 21 years old, and very clean shaven for 21 years old. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's in from California United, has previously played for proper clubs at a proper level as well. I don't really know what he's been doing there for the last 2 years. He's gone to a club below tier 10, not featured, but before that was playing in League 2. So for a 21-year-old, it's a weird career trajectory. In my mind, he spent 2 years at college, and that's what's actually happened there. But we'll see. Who knows? And then Gary Almiral is another striker, 18 years old, 3.5-star current ability, a striker with 13 finishing. Who knew such a thing existed? 5-star potential on him as well. And he's in from New England Academy, again, off of the Football League. There's some quite expensive signings in there. We are close to being maxed out on our spensies. There are areas I still want to strengthen as well. I'm not after loads of players. I think we're getting there with the players that we've already got. We're potentially bringing in another goalkeeper, but if not, Southern and Diaz probably get the job done. The new players we've added in at the defence, I'd ideally like another right back. Parmenta is good. We don't really have anyone behind Parmenta, especially because Perez and Gerrard are both on the transfer list, and we'll hopefully manage to get rid of them before the season starts up again. But Morgan and Martin as a centre-back partnership with Vinicius, sometimes playing there, sometimes playing midfield, I think works. And Campos can be our new left-back. We've then got Bay in midfield, where we've also got Vinicius, who can play there. Gomez, we know, is good. Sebwe and Severs, they've both got potential, but they both were in and out of the team with injuries last year, so they need to sort that out. I think we've probably got enough depth there. If we could find a 4.5-star current ability player just to add some quality to our depth, I wouldn't be offended. Left wing, we've got a Johnson and then not much behind him. Right wing, we've got nothing really. Huyan is likely to be starting on the right wing as it stands. We are currently trying to bring a right winger in, and up front, we've got loads of talent. Takada, Almiral, the Johnsons. We've still got Stone and Hernandez around, but we're trying to get rid of both of them. There's still players who need to leave to free up more money, but hopefully there's going to be lots more talent coming in as well as we look to build a team that can just win this league this year. That's the idea. We're expected to finish 12th. Unacceptable. We're going up as bleeping champions. Well, it's a sad day for the football club, but after nearly 10 seasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, 6 of which he was an absolute hero. Jorge Hernandez has left the club. And not only that, we've sold him at a profit because he didn't cost us anything. So we brought him in for free. We've sold him for $1.5 grand. He's dropped back down to the Central Premier League which is the division we were in when we signed him, and we know what he can do to the Central Premier League. We're 3 divisions higher than that. It's a big drop, but he's also finally got his full-time contract, and he's earning more money with them than he ever earned with us. So it's a good deal all round for everybody. He's our all-time record goal scorer. It's very unlikely anyone ever breaks his record. 209 goals, 136 assists in 255 appearances, averaging a 7.78 in over 250 appearances. Thank you, Jorge Alberto Hernandez. We wouldn't be where we are without you. But goodness me, a 3 for finishing. We couldn't keep you around any longer. Another batch of transfers done. Where did we get to before? I think we got as far as Sean Roberts. Don't know why the microphone is turned. Sean Roberts is the new goalkeeper, I think. Let me just check. He's the new goalkeeper. Okay, so Adam Anthony, another double A. Right winger, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, only 18 years old. Already better than Huyan, apparently. Never played a game for Atlanta United, but he's another one who is a Premier League player who's been released down to our level at 18. I like the fact we're starting to get these kind of players. Michael Marquez is a bit of a mistake. He's, I think he's one that I've let my director of football sign one and slip through the cracks. I've been quite good at cancelling everything they've tried to do this summer, but I must have got his name confused with someone else's name and thought he was someone I'd brought in on trial, and we're just immediately trying to loan him out. And then Eric Cox is a central midfielder who can also play in defence. We've brought him in to be a midfielder. He might end up being our backup right back as well if we don't find another one. He's got 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. So he would be the best right back at the club, but he's also comfortably the best central midfielder at the club. He was at Chattanooga for the last couple of years in this league. Lots of experience at this level. So should be a good signing for the squad. Money-wise, if we get the last couple that we're trying to get, we're going to go over our budget. I suspect we won't, because a lot of the players we're trying to get in are just being taken by other clubs. If we remove that, then they're not showing on there anymore. We've probably, we've signed, 10 players this summer. I must have made offers for 30. We're not really able to compete with wages. So as soon as another club comes in for a player, we don't have much chance of getting them. So, for example, this guy has got offers in from us and Colorado Springs. So he's almost certainly going to go to Colorado, whereas this guy will probably get, because we're the only club that are in for him. So we've got more of a chance of bringing him in. We are closing in on the start of the new season. We've got about 2 weeks until the season begins. We could probably do with another friendly in here. We don't seem to have played a lot of football this summer. Have we got anyone that we can face in a friendly for a little confidence booster? Let's get a couple of the local Boston teams in, just for a couple of, okay. A very small reputation. Is that going to be a confidence booster? How good are Boston are they in our league? No, they're the league below. So we've got Big Boston, Little Boston. Hopefully we'll beat them both. We've already played Boston Siege. We like to stay local for our friendlies, as you can see. But hopefully we'll get in a couple of wins, just as little confidence boosters, because more than anything, we need... In fact, club atmosphere is getting better again, but we do need to get some team cohesion in. So let's get them in, doing their team cohesion training. We also need to get rid of this guy, but nobody wants him, which is unfortunate. Right, last batch of transfers are in. I say last batch, you can see there's one more that's trying to be done. This is another one I'm letting my director of football do, because he's got decent potential, and my director of football's throwing money around like we've got some, so I'm not going to object to it. In my world, if he does it, it's not my fault. So I think we got as far as Eric Cox. I don't think you've met Jose Antonio Martinez, so he's a right back I brought in. See, I am much better than my own director of football. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, 18 years old, comes in from Premier League Austin. Another Premier League youngster coming in. This guy's going to need a nickname, so I'm not going to be able to say this very often. I'm assuming Villacone Campithune or some... don't know. We need a nickname for him. He's a 19-year-old Laotian international. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's a left back, by the way. Best left back at the club. He was previously at San Antonio in the championship. Has spent time out on loan at our level previously with Tulsa and Stumptown Athletic. We've got Corey Wakasa, who's 21 years old with a beard. He's a natural playing anywhere up the middle, similar to Vinicius. He's in on loan for the rest of the season. We're not having to pay a penny towards him, which is lovely, but can play centre-back, defensive midfield, central midfield, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's just about the best we've got in all the positions we can play, which is always a nice situation to be in. Another midfielder is William Henao. I've been after this guy all summer, that kept messing up the negotiations. He was always the guy I tried to bring in when we didn't have any money left to bring him in and we couldn't offer him what he wanted. Finally, we've managed to get him through the door. He's an 18-year-old central midfielder, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, as good as Wakasa in central midfield. And he played 33 times in the championship last year for Atlanta United Academy. Yes, only 15 of them were starts, but that's still 15 starts in Tier 2 last year, and he's still only 18 years old. There is something about that boy, of that I am sure. Lucas Griffiths is a striker that I let my director of football bring in. Whoops. And then Sean Padilla is a 20-year-old American central midfielder, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, not quite as good as Wakasa or Henao, but still pretty useful. Again, Premier League, Football League experience, albeit not actually playing. And then possibly signing of the summer, Emmanuel Garcia is a 19-year-old right winger who signed on loan for the rest of the season from Oklahoma. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential. So much better than Huyan. He was just signed by Oklahoma for £350,000. He was at FC Dallas in the Premier League. They've signed him for $350,000 and immediately loaned him out to us. That's got to be a sign that he's a decent player, charging down that right-hand side. It's going to be a very, very new look Bourne team at the start of this new season. If we have a look at our squad depth, only really the strikers are going to have any familiarity about them. But we've got Garcia on the right. I guess Johnson will probably still play on the left, Takada and maybe the other Johnson up front. But then in midfield, you can pick any two from Cox, Wakasa, Henao, Padilla, all new signings. Left back, it's going to be the Campithun. Centre back, probably Vinicius starts in there alongside new club captain Morgan. But we've got Martin, Cox, Wakasa can all play there as well. At right back, we probably go Parmenta, maybe Martinez. Cox might play there rather than midfield. And then in goal, we've got Southern and new boy Roberts, plus the new backup Diaz. Lots and lots of new faces, but it's a definitely upgraded squad, considerably upgraded on what we had last season. We're now 7th favourites for promotion, so we're back in the promotion conversation, which is nice. And finances are a little bit ruined again, but not massively. We're only like £1,000 a week over, which is where we were roughly at the start of this video. We were supposed to fix that. I got carried away building a title-winning team instead. Silly old Kev. Well, that gets us through to the end of the summer, and this is what our new look team is going to be for the first day of the new season. How many debuts is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 debuts. This could end up being a bit of a mess, but fingers crossed, we're going to go and win the league. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.